Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. Let me know how the connection is so far. Hopefully we'll have a good connection all night. Sometimes the video skips, but the audio should be good for the whole time. So we're going to do some mini readings tonight. We already have 3 people on the list. And if you want to get on the list for a mini reading, click on the description. On this video, there's a link to my PayPal, and you send $25 to the PayPal account. And once the notification goes through, I add your name to the list. And when I call your name, that's when you can put up your question into the chat. And that's kind of how we do it. So don't put your question in PayPal because I'm not going to be able to read it. Definitely put your question into the chat when it is your turn. And again, I'll let you know when it is your turn. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Please hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. And also download my free moon astrology guide, which will tell you what your psychic gifts are based off of your moon sign. It'll also enter you into my email list, and I send out a weekly moon magic report. And the report basically tells you the astrology of the week. It's in written form, so it's really nice to get that into your inbox every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific. And if you want to join us for the Starseed membership, I would love to see you there. We have live events every month, 2 live events per month. And then I upload information based off of the astrology, the transits, the planet ingresses, retrogrades, all that stuff, all the major things. You get a lot of information about all of that. So, and it's on a regular basis. And it's just an amazing and beautiful community. And I'm so excited to be able to have that. So let's say hi to everybody that's in here right now. We've got Mindy, welcome in. We've got Raven, hello. We've got Jeanette. We've got, who else is here? Shannon is here. Hello. We have Shelby. Welcome. Sunny, welcome in. Melanie, also welcome in. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, so for any technical issues, please send me an email and we can deal with that privately. Hello, April. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. All right. So we actually are, like I said, we already have 3 on the list. So we've got Jeanette is the first on the list, and then we have Raven, and then we have Nelly. So we are ready to go. So Jeanette, if you are ready, feel free to put up your question in the chat, and then also let me know what kind of reading you guys want when it is your turn. You can choose from a tarot or oracle reading. You can also choose from an astrology reading, human design, or gene keys. And yeah, all the readings are they're intuitive readings. So when I tap into everything, right? I mean, the knowledge is there to back it, but really the way that I do readings is I tap into intuitively what is going on, and the things that jump out at me. That's what I focus on the most. So there you go. Hello, Alexandria. Welcome in. Found your channel the other day and I'm extremely grateful. Thank you for your content and wisdom. You're welcome. Welcome to this beautiful community. We just had somebody else get on the list, so I'm going to go check on that and update the list for you guys while we wait for Jeanette's question. I just discovered the Human Design Connection reports last night. What a trip. Okay, so Mindy, make sure that you email me and then we can deal with that privately. There's no need to do that in the chat here. Okay, so Sandra is also on the list. Okay, and then the rest of the list is open. Okay. Yeah, no, but seriously, Mindy, just send me an email and we'll figure it out. We'll see what it is. We'll figure it out. If I have to just email it to you as a PDF, I can totally do that. So like I said, no worries. Just send me an email privately and we'll figure it out. Hello, Kim. Welcome in. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. So how's the sound? Jeanette, are you here? Are you still typing? So there's 4 on the list so far. We're waiting for Jeanette's question. She did get on the list a few days ago. She always gets on the list a little bit early, which is kind of, I love it. I love that when people get it, like, oh yeah, but that means if you get on the list early, you're going to be first. Here we go. Okay. I would like... okay, my husband's chart, particularly his career, which is very stressful. Okay, so did you want me to look at like astrology? Yeah, like his career house? Okay, sound is good. The video's a little glitchy, I know. We are ready to roll. As long as the sound is good, honestly, like the glitchy video, it's not as bad as not having sound. Not having sound sucks. Did you guys know that in videos, like when you do just videos in general on YouTube, that the sound, it's more important to have good sound quality than it is to have good video quality? Not weird. I mean, the video quality does matter, but really the sound quality is really the thing that will make it or break it. Okay. So I will, if you give me 1 second, share the screen so you guys can also look. So you can actually also see it. Here we go. Oh, thanks. Everybody loves these earrings. These, I've had them for a freaking long time. Like I feel like I've had these since like 2015 or like 2016 or something. And when I remember when I got them, it was like, I love these earrings and those are the ones I want. and I was not going to have it any other way. And I'm so glad I got them because till this day, they are, I think, one of my favorite earrings. All right, here we go. So let's pull up the information here. All right, we've got 10, 30, 53. At 1:20 p.m. Boston. Okay. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is like coming in and out and I don't like it, but there's nothing I can do about it. Let's put the transits over that. And we'll check it out together. Totally taking my time tonight. Someone else just got on the list. Just want to let you know that I saw it. Okay, so can you guys see the chart? Let me update the list. So the next person that got on the list is Taylor. Hi, Taylor. And somebody else too. And one more after Taylor. Okay, awesome. Okay, good. I'm just checking the PayPal real quick. Oh, Rachel. I believe that's Rachel that got on the list as well. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's where we're at. And then I'm going to pause until we're done with this reading to update the list. So we've got Jeanette right now, then Raven, then Nellie, then Sandra, then Taylor, and then Rachel. That's 6 readings. So usually I don't do more than 10 a night. So that means there's just 4 spots left. Okay. Here we go. What software am I using for astrology? This is called Astro Gold. Okay. So we're looking at Scorpio, Sun, Leo, Moon. Let me just look at the natal stuff real quick and then we'll take a look at career stuff. So you want to know something interesting that just kind of jumped out at me right now. So his 10th house, so his midheaven is at 4 degrees. 4 degrees, it starts at 4 degrees of Sag and it goes to 25 degrees of Sag. Pretty much like most of Sagittarius energy is in his 10th house, which is what you were asking a question about, his house of career. And the reason that this is jumping out at me is because we just went through the nodes right before they were in Scorpio and Taurus. They were in Gemini and Sagittarius, which means that this Scorpio transit began in January, but basically all of last year, the South Node was transiting his 10th house. And the 10th house is the house of career. And wherever you have the South Node transiting a certain spot in your chart, that's the area where it's focused. And it means that this is a place of release, a place of letting go of the old and then opening up to new possibilities, new things. So in this case, it's career related. So maybe it's business partnerships or actual, like your job, or it also has to do with how you are kind of showing up for others. On a more spiritual basis, this has to do with the crown chakra. And so this is our connection to our higher self. and whatever we're doing, that is how we're in the public eye, whatever is like our career. See, the funny thing about, astrology is that it says career house, and you can take it really literally, but I'm much more of the kind of astrologer or reader that will go into the deeper frequencies of that, right? So in terms of the spiritual aspect of this, it means that last year it's a very powerful time, starting like, December and then 18 months back. So it's more than a year, but it just all of last year was in this energy. So basically, this is this person, your husband, going through a spiritual kind of like reckoning or like a release. And what may have been coming up, last year for him was, is this really what I want to do? Is this really does this feed me? Does this feed my soul? And it doesn't have to mean that anything actually has to change, because you can make those internal changes spiritually, and then you change the perspective and you change your energy. And so everything on the outside begins to change. But if there was any kind of thought last year of like, I'm kind of tired of doing this, or I'm not really into this, isn't feeding my soul, now the manifestation of the energy, has shifted. And so because it went through his career house, now you're like starting to see the effects of that. And sometimes it does take a while for things to take effect. So now what's going on is the South Node is transiting through his ninth house. And this is the house of expansion. But what happens in the ninth house is, or with Scorpio energy, is again, it's extra South Nodey, because Scorpio has to do with death, change, and transformation, or transmutation, like literal, like mutation. It's uncovering that which is hidden. It's all coming to the surface. So any issues that have to do with reaching beyond the edge, which is very ninth house energy, reaching beyond the edge and moving into another energy, letting go of everything that just does no longer, fits into our life, and stepping into a whole new way of being, is also happening now. So we went from one South Nodal transit to that was, it was crazy because it's mutable energy, but it just means that wherever the South Node is, you're releasing and letting go and making space for something new. But we went from that to South Node Scorpio, which is, it can be really heavy. So some of the things that are coming up for all of us have to do with where is this energy in our chart. For him, it's happening in the ninth house. So I think that it's an internal shift that is in a way manifesting as an external shift. And anything that is going on right now that is really not in alignment is going through a powerful transformation, transmutation. And it's affecting everyone. So of course, it's going to show up in the world in all of these different places. It's going to show up internally for us. It's going to show up in daily life. It's going to show up at work. It's going to show up think about, where is the stress coming from? Is it because you're dealing with other people? Usually it is, right? Is it because what is the nature of the problem? It could be also, money related, the contracts aren't working or things like that. Because this is also a nodal axis that relates to money. But in a general sense, it makes sense that if you just went through a whole transit of the South Node on your 10th house, that means that there was huge shifts in the career, and now that is kind of unfolding. The story is unfolding, and now we're moving into, okay, now we really got to let go of what doesn't serve us. So I would say that if you're think about what's going on internally for you as you go through these experiences, and that'll give you a lot of insight into the question is, what am I not letting go of that I know I need to let go of, that internally I've already known that I need to release, in this situation, whatever that is, that I'm refusing or kind of holding on to or resisting, because the resistance brings more resistance. So that's what's coming up for me in terms of career energy for this chart. I will also look at a couple of other things here. We've got, Pluto right here. That's another big one, actually. So Pluto is also Scorpio related, and because he rules the sign of Scorpio. He also is death, change, transformation. He's the lord of the underworld, and Pluto transits can be quite dismantling, so that the old gets released and there's space for something new to be born. Now, Pluto right now is almost exactly, he's been going over his north node, which is in Capricorn, which is the ruler of the 10th house, career. And he has a destiny of being, a career person. If you were to take astrology in very general terms, he has this destiny of being a career person, meaning that career, like, being in the public eye or doing something, being successful at something is part of his like destiny in a way. So when Pluto comes around, and it's basically, this has been coming on since 2008, because that's when Pluto entered Capricorn. So now it's just exactly hitting, his north node, which means that it's like it's shaking things up for you in the world of career. So this was also happening last year and the year before that. So I feel like it's coming, but right now you're feeling like the intensity of it. So that's why I say there's a big theme here of like, what am I resisting? What needs to change about my quote unquote career and life? And it doesn't mean you have to stop what you're doing. It's just something is saying needs to be released so that something new can be put in place. What is that? And you will only know that internally for yourself. So that's all the very, strong career stuff that is actually going on in his chart, and it's interrelated here. So that's what I got for you. That was a good question. I hope that brought some insight there. Thank you. Okay, so next we have Raven. Raven, you are next. So what I would recommend is, so that we get through all the questions and we're not here like all night, is that if you signed up for a reading, have your question ready. Be paying attention to where we're at in the video. Don't leave and then come back later when you think I'm going to be on the next reading. Just be present and have a question ready, and then just throw it in the chat when it is your turn, and then that will just keep this flowing. Okay, 100% accurate. Awesome. Love that. And thank you for getting a reading for him. Okay, Raven says, human design, please. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here, and we will go, we'll go here. And what do you want to know? What's your question, Raven? What are you interested in? Have we looked at your human design chart here? Okay, let me see if this works. All right, we've got, the day is the 7th. The month is the 12th. And the year is 1984. The time is 8:36 p.m., which is going to be military time. What's 8:36 in military time? So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 36. Okay. So the questions like that are for astrology, not for human design. So human design, we're just going to look at your human design chart. The human design chart doesn't really talk about career. Astrology does because it got the career house. I just meant if you had a specific question or something about your human design chart that you wanted to understand better, so I could kind of guide it. Otherwise, I can just go general and see what is present in your chart. Thank you, Shannon. Okay, so, then we still have one more. Huntsville. Okay, here we go. Okay, sounds good. So you, I'm sure, are, mostly familiar, at least I know you're familiar with the type that you are. You're a manifesting generator, and you're a 6/2 and profile, and you have emotional authority, which means you have a defined solar plexus. Your defined centers are actually the sacral and the throat, the solar plexus, and the G center. So you are someone who has a defined identity. The G center is the part of us that has, or that it's the direction to which we are going. So maybe for you, we'll just kind of talk about the centers, and because I know that you kind of understand the other aspects, right? Like what it means to have emotional authority. I can also speak on that as well, but I feel like for you, I might just talk about the centers. So am I on the list? Ja, I sent through, but not sure if it was received. Okay, I will check it. Yeah, does that sound good? Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. I haven't gotten it, so just double check your settings and make sure that it went through and all of that, Shelby. Okay. So, the G center is the thing that's kind of calling out to me for some reason. And I'm also looking at the channels because I've started to really kind of dive into the different channels, and this is going to be kind of really fun to talk about. So let's stick with the G center for now. So the G center is the direction. It's like the direction to which we're going. The G center has direction, right? When it's defined, you have a defined direction, you have a defined identity, because it's also about identity. So these defined centers are the ones that you should rely on. Like we all need to rely on our defined centers because they will have consistent energy always. Our undefined centers will not have consistent energy ever. You are not here to work on like defining the undefined centers. It's not what your design is, right? So if you have ever focused on all of the undefined centers, which is what we do, because what happens is we ignore those things that are consistent in us because I think they feel so natural that we focus on the things that we feel are wrong with us, which are these undefined centers, because we don't have any consistency. It's like, it almost feels like we're all over the place, or we just get engulfed in other people's energies. We grow up and we get what human design calls conditioned to be a certain thing, depending on which center is undefined. And then you realize you can't hold that energy. And so it causes like internal conflict within ourselves because we feel like we're supposed to be a certain way and we can't be that way. And so it's like, and we try to be this way or that way, and it just falls apart because there is no consistency. We are here to rely on our defined centers to take us in the direction to which we are designed to go. So the G center means that you are someone that has a defined identity, a sense of self. And this sense of self guides you in life. Like you're not someone that questions like, who am I? Like that kind of thing. Like you just have this very kind of defined sense of self. The other thing that you have defined is the throat, which makes you the manifesting generator, which gives you the manifesting side of the manifesting of the generator, right? And this is about being able to express the things that come from the defined center or centers that are connected to the throat. Because the throat just kind of like is the speaker, meaning like a boombox speaker in a way. It's kind of how I understand it. It is but because it's the throat and because it's like the place that everything goes to the throat in human design, like everything's like moving towards the throat, because from the throat center it comes out, it manifests out into the world. So what you have is a consistent way of manifesting, or a consistent way of expressing yourself. And what comes out, because it's the throat, is also comes out of the voice, is what centers are connected to the voice. That's what's going to literally come out of your mouth all the time. So what is connected? You have the sacral center, and you also have the solar plexus center connected to your throat. So what comes out of your throat is your emotions literally come out of your throat. When you speak, when you express yourself, it's your emotions coming out. And it's also the sacral center, which is the creativity. It's like the power to generate. It's the life force energy. So life force energy comes through, and so does the voice of your emotions. I can see this, right, in you. It's like you are an emotional being, because having a defined solar plexus makes you an emotional being. So what comes out is these emotions that are here to be felt. You are somebody who needs to feel what they're feeling and needs to go through the waves so that you can understand what's going on and how to decide on things. So that's so important for a solar plexus authority, but you also have that generating frequency. You have the life force. Something really cool that I learned recently about the generators, so this includes manifesting generators, is that they are literally the expression of the life force of the planet. Like they literally are the earth. The life force of the earth. And they're here to do like Gaia's work, basically. And that's why the frustration, because when you are not using the energy that Mama Gaia gave you in the direction to which you're supposed to be using it, then it's like the earth going, oh, I didn't give you this life force for you to do that with it. I gave you this life force for you to do this with it. But you experience that personally as frustration in your life, because there is this gauge that tells you this is the way, that's not the way. And if you force yourself to go the way that you're not supposed to go, you're going to feel that frustration as having that generator energy. So that's what's super, super interesting about your chart. The other thing that's really jumping out at me is these channels, the 34 to the 10, the 34 to the 20, and then the 10 to the 20. Those channels are actually called the integration channels. You actually have this defined. The 20th gate is the gate of the now, contemplation. The 10th gate is the gate of behavior of the self. It's like treading the path. The one that you don't have defined is the 57th, but you have the 34th defined, which is the gate of power. The power that comes from the source energy. So you have the 1020, which is the channel of awakening, which means it's a design of commitment to higher principles. So you have this design of being committed to higher principles. You also have the 3420, which is the channel of charisma. So it's a design where thoughts must become deeds. So there's this driving force to manifest. And that's why the connection to the throat. And then the 50, those are the two channels that you have connected there in that integration channel. So the energy of the integration channels is I love myself and I empower myself by listening to my intuition in the now. You need to listen to that very carefully, is that you have to love yourself. And when you love yourself, you empower yourself. And the way that you learn to love yourself and empower yourself is by listening to your intuition and being in the moment. So it's a very in the moment kind of energy. Although the solar plexus on the other side, which is connected to your throat, it's the 3536 channel. That's the circuit. It's the collective circuit, and it's the sensing circuit. So the 35th gate is the gate of progress. The 36th gate is the gate of crisis. The darkening of the light is the name of it. That's going to resonate with you, I know. The darkening of the light. And then that channel is called the channel of transitoriness. So the collective group, the energy of the sensing circuit, it's about sharing, right? It's about experiencing and reflecting on experiences in order to learn. It's about discovery. It's about the revelations that come at the end of experiences upon reflection. It's learning from the past. And patience is going to be one of the biggest lessons for you, because in the moment, you're not going to have the clarity. Your clarity comes over time, right? Discovery, like failure that you perceive as failure, is actually not failure. It's actually you just discovering. And you have this desire for change and a restlessness and boredom if things are not changing or moving forward. But the problem is, and it's not a problem, it's just part of the design, is that you cannot make sense of your life while it is happening. You can only make sense of your life after something has happened and you're looking back on it. But that speaks to the defined solar plexus. So that's this energy. The channel of transitoriness, which is the 3536, is a design of being a jack of all trades. So being able to do many things. So anyways, that's really cool that we were able to kind of look at that with your human design. So hopefully that gave you some deeper insight into your design, besides just the fact that you are a, emotional manifesting generator, that you have the 6-2 line. So thank you. Thank you for getting a reading. Okay. Next we have Nelly. We got Nelly, and then Sandra, and then Taylor, and then Rachel. I'm sure that a lot of that resonated. Hello, Maria. Welcome in. All right. So I'm going to check the list again. We did not get anything from you, Shelby, unless you sent it earlier today. Nope. Nothing from Shelby. Just letting you know still. Okay. So Nelly, are you in here? Nelly, Sandra, Taylor, and then Rachel is who we have on the list. Did she signed up for a reading, so I feel like she knew this was happening. Oh, she left me a note. I never look at them, you guys. I do not look at PayPal messages. Okay. But she says she wants, she says she can't make it. She wants a progress reading. Okay, need more clarity on next steps in my career path. Feel so stuck. Been in a long holding pattern and feel like I'm fighting uphill. Okay. All right. So give me a second because I can't, it's so small. But we will transition back to here. And we're going to pull up her chart. All right. Well, I'm glad that that you were here, Shannon, and you're like, pretty sure she can't be here. I never look at the notes on PayPal. I just kind of look at the notifications. Okay. And then it was here. All right. Okay. Got it. So we're going to do a subsidiary chart, secondary progressions, go. All right. So here we go. Let's take a look at this. What do we got? Progress Sun at 13 Libra. Ooh, that's very interesting, the situation, especially because of what I'm seeing here in the chart. Okay. I'm going to go back a few years. I need to see something. All right. So let's get the exact date. All right. So right around July of 2009. Okay. 2009 was the progressed new moon in your chart, and it actually happened in Libra, and it actually happened in your 10th house of career. So the interesting thing about that is you're asking about a career question, and the connection between the progress chart actually really shines a light on this area, which is career. At that time, you actually had a lot of stuff in Libra in your chart, in your progress chart. You had the sun and the moon, and it was at 0 degrees of Libra. So it was like the very first degree of Libra. Pluto, your progressed Pluto was at 11 Libra. Progressed Juno was in Libra. Progressed Mars was in Libra. Your progressed midheaven was in Libra. Your progressed Venus was in Libra. So Libra was like this huge, very huge energy in your chart. And I don't know what was going on in 2009, but I'm assuming that this is where this journey began. It is where the journey began. And the theme that it has is the 10th house of career. Okay. So come back to today. Your progressed moon is in Pisces, but it's at the 29th degree of Pisces. So for the last 2.5 years, you have been going through a progressed moon in Pisces, which means it's been I'll get the book because I love the descriptions from the book, but it's a spiritual thing. Okay. So this Pisces energy can bring in like spiritual experiences and the release, right? It's a very kind of also inner time. It's the inner journey, but it's also the transcendence. Like you are getting ready to transcend something. That's what happens. So right now you are in the gibbous energy, right? So let's look at that. You're just working with the energy. You're understanding what's going on, or having an experience of, life, becoming aware. Everything that has started manifesting since 2009, you're really working with right now. By this stage, the energy has been obvious for about 3 years of what is really starting to manifest in your life. You will feel confident with it and will start to experience a desire to express your knowledge. This is the time to have faith that you are strong enough, wise enough, and stable enough to express your own ideas and opinions, even in the face of adverse conditions. It is a time of expression. This is the stage where the plant is setting its fruit. The rewards are not yet ripe, but are visible on the vine. The years of hard work are starting to pay off, and the fruits of your labor, whether weeds or crops, are in sight. When in this phase, you will either be content, working hard, confident of the outcome, or panicky, knowing that the road you are traveling is leading to an unproductive outcome or a crop of weeds. So that's kind of the heaviness of that. But the Pisces moon. The non-emotional, non-personal energy of Aquarius leads you into a drought of deeply personal inner relationships and away from your own feelings. As the moon enters Pisces 2.5 years ago, this drought is broken. The unconscious desire is to reconnect with the deeper self, the god or goddess within, or the higher self. You cascade into a waterfall of your own unconscious and turn away from groups. Dreams flood into your life and your inner world becomes a fantasy land that is irresistible. The desire is to become reclusive so that your inner world can be explored. The self can be lost in this sort of terrain and your boundaries become unclear. But recognize, and here is the key, because your moon is at 29 degrees of Pisces, which means it's about to enter Aries. Recognize that this cycle in turn leads to Aries, the ultimate overreaction to the boundlessness of Pisces. So, I can promise you that the energy is about to change dramatically, because not only are you moving towards a moon in Aries, which is going to enter into the sign of Aries on September 9th. September 9th. Like, shit is about to change. You're done. You're in like the last few days of this moon in Pisces energy, which is like the reclusiveness, so it's going to change very, very soon. So what's it going to change into? Aries, independence, clarity of action. The desire here is to experience the freedom of action without heeding the consequences, to do what you desire. If you act within parameters of the current situation for most of your life, you will start to act more independently. When the progress moon travels through this sign, you want to face confrontations and challenges, for unconsciously you desire to measure yourself against others, to compete with them, and thus will become involved in competitive, aggressive, or angry situations. But we're not going with literal shit. We're just talking about the fact that during Aries energy, you have that power. Aries is Mars ruled, so it's about action, and Aries is the spark that starts the fire, right? And the fire is, it's a moment of inspiration. It's a moment of, Aries is inspiration. It's that first moment where the beginning of spring, where it's like the seed goes, and comes out. That's what you're literally in that right now. And in a few days, it's going to be total change. So here's the other thing that is crazy about this is that you're not just entering moon in Aries. The moon in Aries is actually where you're going to have your full moon. Full moon in the progress chart. So let's find that. The time to reap the rewards. And it's not going to happen for, I would say, about a year. It's not going to reach its climax for about a year, but you're going to start feeling it now. The time to reap the rewards. This is not a time for new projects or ideas, but rather a harvesting of that which is already there. This is the time to collect, the time to receive, to pick the fruit. For now, it is in its prime. This is the climax of the cycle where the energy is at its peak. Collect the fruits of your labor. They are ripe. The full moon phase states that the seeds have grown and you experience the fulfillment or outcome of the new beginnings made 14 years earlier. These rewards may be positive or negative, depending on the crop that was planted back at the new moon phase. The important point to make about this lunar phase is that regardless of the energy or the area into which you have been putting your energy, the process has now culminated, reached its peak, is in its prime. The confronting part of this harvesting lunar phase is in recognizing that it is harvest time. For some, this can be easy with the harvest being bountiful. Others may be disconnected with the harvest and wait for it to get better. I'll just stick with this job out for a few more years and then I'll get the promotion I want is the sort of statement that can occur around a full moon. However, the full moon doesn't get any better than this. There is no more promotion. This is the peak of the cycle. And the actual full moon is going to happen at 15 degrees. But let me make sure we get the exact climax. 1504, 03. 02. Okay. 15 degrees of Aries, December of 2023. So that's the climax that you're moving towards. So December of 2023 is a little over a year from now is going to be the climax of this full moon energy. What happens when you have a new moon in Libra and then the full moon in Aries? What happens is this is a very kind of independent energy for you. Like you're like, I'm going to do it myself. Like I'm just going to go do it. Like Aries doesn't have that kind of patience like Taurus, right? Aries just fucking goes. So this could be a really good thing for you. And I think that the heaviness is that you're right now at the 29th degree of Pisces and you've been going through this Pisces energy with the moon. And now it's like, it's a transcendence to a whole new self. It's the ending of the whole wheel. The Pisces energy is the ending of you went through a whole fucking wheel and now you're like, boom, like starting from zero, like starting all over again. Yeah, energy is going to shift dramatically. So hopefully that gave you some insight. Really, really, intense stuff. It's funny because I've looked at a lot of people that are having full moon phases right now. Even I am going through, but my full moon is in Capricorn. So it's in my progress chart and it's happening not until 2024, but because it's at the later degrees for me, but my moon just entered Capricorn, which is the sign where it's going to be full. So I'm in like the full moon energy, like coming into it phase myself as well. And my new moon was in Cancer 14 years ago, kind of a thing. Right. And I remember like when I've looked at the astrology, everything matches perfectly. Like the themes, everything that was going on in my life and what's unfolding and how things have unfolded. It just matches perfectly. It blows my mind. Progress charts are just phenomenal. Rachel says, I'm having my full moon phase, now too in Sag. See, there you go. Like a lot. I think maybe I'm attracting other people that are going through the same phase. But anyways, we have Sandra. Sandra is next, then Taylor, and then Rachel. These are fun readings tonight. I hope you guys are having fun. All right, Sandra, we are ready for you. Another progress chart. Okay. Is this for you? Ooh, what's a gene key reading? I did just get another person sign up. I just want to let you know, whoever just sent it, got it, and you'll be after the last person. So 8, 18, 65. It was from, oh, it's Shannon. Yep, it's kind of gnarly because it's September 9th. It's changing. Like into Aries, right? You're like, blah! You're like coming out of the box, like, rah! Jack in the box. Ding, 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 ding. Boing. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, so the time is 22:00, 10 p.m. Or yeah. Okay. And then okay. All right. So August 18th, 65, 10 p.m. 1:30. All right. Let's look at this progress chart. Another progress chart. These are quite fun. Okay. So for you, Sandra, your progress sun is so funny. You guys are both Leos with progress suns in Libra. But you are in a completely different phase of the moon. This is the disseminating moon, which is getting close to the third. Not close, because these transits last, forever. Forever. 2.5 years. Okay. But you're getting close to the third quarter square, but right now you're still in like the disseminating phase. So I'm going to go back for you to when you had your full moon, because you're in a totally different energy. You already went through the full moon, and it's not like you guys, we go through like multiple these cycles last 28.5 years. One of these circles, right? From new moon to new moon again is 28.5 years. So it's possible to have 2 full moon phases. It's so particular to the exact moment that you were born and where the planets were. Like no one has the same progress chart. It is so particular and so unique to the exact time that you were born. So your progressed full moon happened in 2018, March 22nd. I think that's Earth Day. Isn't that Earth Day? March 22nd. Well, it's definitely the spring. It's the spring. It was the spring equinox. Spring equinox of 2018. Right when the spring started. It was the biggest hit. But that whole year you were feeling like the full moon, everything that I'm sure you were just listening. Everything that I talked about the reaping the rewards of whatever the hell happened and was seeded and grew, and the tree grew, and then the fruits came out, and like that's when the fruits were fully ripe, so you could pick them from the tree and eat them in your life. And it was the same. What is this? You also had a full moon in Aries. See, there's something weird, man. When progress charts come around, they're so weird, like people just, I don't know. So you already had your full moon, and it was in Aries, just like it is for Nelly right now. But of course, for you, it was also in the first house. So this had a lot to do with your sense of self. It's like relationships and your sense of self. For Nelly, I didn't look at it, but it was, what house was it in? Oh man. I'll go back and check it, okay? But in a minute. But anyways, that also gives you insight into what it is. Was it the fifth or the sixth house that we were looking at? I can't remember. Anyways, but for you, it's happening in the first house. And this is the house of self. It did happen already. The house of self. So you learned something really powerful, your journey about yourself. Who am I? And I want to express myself. And Nelly's going through a similar thing. So, but now the moon, from there, it moved on. It finished Aries, went through Taurus, finished its transit through Taurus in 2020, kept going through Taurus, entered Gemini in 2021, and it's still there. It's moon in Gemini in the progress chart. So let's look into these more specific energies to see what this actually means. Moon in Gemini. Okay. So, first of all, let's go to the moon in Gemini energy. Okay, here we go. From the fertile soil of Taurus, on the farmlands of the personal self, the crop of curiosity is grown. Suddenly, you require more information. And in seeking this information, you stride down from the hills into the cities of the external world. Input is the key word here, as you have an inner motivation to seek it above all else. You feel the need to increase the base of your knowledge, to encounter ideas in a productive, non-threatening way. Books, courses, languages, conversations, and people will now start pouring into your life. This has been going on since 2020. What did we say? 2020? No, we said 2021. Since last year. It's been going on. You've been in this sort of kind of crazy kind of Gemini energy. And you're still, you're still right in the middle of it, literally right in the middle of it. What also happened right at the beginning of that transit, if we go back, so yeah, in July of 2021, it entered Gemini, and then it conjuncted your progressed north node in Gemini in November of last year, and then it kept going, and it just recently conjunct in April your north node, your natal north node. So this is also a place where you focus on your destiny, and you have north node in your third house, which is Gemini ruled, which is communication, which is like expression of the self. And this has to do with expressing your voice, your truth. This is all part of your destiny. So the moon right now being in Gemini and going through this kind of curious phase where you want to know more, you want to learn more, you want to study, you get curious about things like lots of connections, lots of networking, that kind of thing has been going on in your life. It's like exhilarating because it's happening right over your north node, which is your destiny. Or it could be scary if it's like, oh my God, I'm not really living in my destiny. So I feel like overwhelmed by this, or I can really see how I haven't been living in my truth or whatever. And those are all the things that start to show up. But you're really smack in the middle of this transit. It's going to go on for over more than a year longer. So when we look at now the phase, which is the disseminating moon, this is the energy that you've also been under. The harvest is over. That which has not yet been reaped now has to be left behind. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, you are now at a stage of realizing that the lovely swelling energy of the full moon has stopped. People quite often change jobs in this phase, for all that can be achieved has been achieved from the present pathway. It is now time to examine the crop and reevaluate, to think about the current position, to extract the most from what has recently been harvested. This phase represents the first waning phase of the moon, and thus is the commencement of a more internal, reflective, and productive period that will last in varying degrees for 14 years. You're almost to, not quite yet, but you're moving towards the halfway point of that. Thus, the reason many people change jobs is because they sense that the time has passed when the job or goal could continue to offer a challenge. You are aware of periods when life is growing, bubbling, surging forward, and in the same way, you are aware of the times when the growth stops. Now is the time to use the skills or advantages gained in the growth period by manifesting these in the community. How beautiful is that? And, you know, in a year or so, we'll check back in and we'll see where you're at then. But that's the power for you. That's hopefully that resonated for you, Sandra. Okay. So next we have Taylor and then Rachel and Shannon after that. Okay, awesome. Good. Glad to hear it. How do astrology charts work for twins? With different personalities or gifts. For example, my niece and nephew were born at the same minute. I'd have to look at the chart, but you have to consider them as like individual people that are going to, if you're looking at it in terms of human design, they're going to be conditioned in different ways in because of the different people that they will encounter in life. And then they'll have to decondition from that. But do you mean how do you explain the fact that people turn out differently? It's for me it could be in the minutes. They were born at the exact same time, in the exact same minute. So they were born really fast, or they were, yeah, twins. You said they're twins. Yeah. So, I'd have to look at the chart, honestly, but that's cool. But yeah, twins definitely usually are born with different energies. Also, each of them is going to be most likely a different Enneagram, and all of these things, like, they change the way you see the world. So I feel like they just have to be looked at as individual people. Okay. Yeah, I feel like when they're like just born, it's you're not going to see much of a difference, but as the months progress and as the years progress and you start to see their different personalities start to come out, that's the Enneagrams, you know. And then they'll be conditioned differently based off of their interactions with people around them. And they will react to things differently because they are individual souls, even though they were born at the same time. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so here we go, Taylor. You don't have a question that you want to ask? What do you mean by general? Like, just look at your natal chart? I got to find a better way to ask that question. Okay. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I totally agree with you. There's different energies. You know, there's so much to each chart, to a chart period. They're like they could be expressing a slightly different aspect of the same planet in the same sign, you know? Okay. Let's check it out. Halloween. Okay. So the first thing that we'll look at would be, that kind of drew my attention is the South Node right now. It's in Scorpio, 17 degrees. And it's exactly on your Pluto. All right. So you've got Pluto, Mercury, Sun, Venus in a, let me just make this easier for everybody. So you guys can see what I'm looking at a little bit better. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at your Venus, Sun, Mercury, Pluto. They're in this massive Scorpio stellium in your 12th house, which is the house of spirituality. Having the Sun in the 12th house is a life of spirituality that you can't really ever get out of. You can't deny the fact that your soul longs to understand itself, that you long to understand your soul, that there's something beyond that one meets the eye. I have Sun in the 12th house. So people with Sun in the 12th house are very spiritual beings, very aware of the beyond the veil, that there's more to this world than meets the eye. And you can't really ever like remove yourself from that. You can't end it. You can't pretend it's not there. It will always call you deeper and deeper. You were also born with Venus exactly conjunct your Sun at 7 degrees. And she is direct in this conjunction. So it's either after she's gone retrograde, or maybe it is exactly during one of the star points. But either way, being born with Sun Venus is a very beautiful energy, because Venus brings beauty to your soul. Like Venus brings beauty to you, the way you look too. And angels, I've always heard it as angels surround you and they're always protecting you. It's really beautiful. The Pluto energy just makes you kind of a very intense and deep, you're a very deep and soulful person, but also very private. And the fact that the South Node is transiting through your 12th house, and we'll go over in this order, we'll go over your Pluto first. It's on it right now. Then your Mercury, then your Sun, and then your Venus. And then the so interesting, the exact conjunction of the Sun and Venus will happen at 29 degrees in October. That's going to happen exactly on the cusp of the 11th house. That's a transit that's coming up for us. It'll be the very first time it's happening in Libra in a long time, so it's a big deal. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of energy going on here right now in your 12th house. So there's a lot of revelations. There's a lot of it's a release of the old and stepping into the new for you. So you got to ask yourself, what am I ready to let go of? What belief belief systems am I ready to let go of? What's the old me that wants to just be done and then be reborn? What relationships are, if they're, if relationships, if things are not like spiritually aligned, if there's not like a divine connection for you in your relationships, in your sense of self, in the way that you communicate, and in your sense of power, then what is not a part of you anymore has to die away. That's what Scorpio says. South Node Scorpio says you got to let go of the old to make space for the new. And this is old ways of thinking, old ways of spirituality, old ways of, defining yourself spiritually. It's kind of a boundless area. The 12th house it's like boundless. So anything can come up. This is also like looking at subconscious patterns that you're unaware of that are coming up to the surface in, power dynamics, how you think and perceive the world, how you communicate, how you express yourself, who you are, and in your relationships, and what you desire in your relationships might be totally changing. But this is going to continue as the South Node continues to pass over all of these planets one by one, little by little, for the next basically few months. This is also where the eclipses are happening. So South Node eclipse. And then there'll be a North Node eclipse in October and November that are going to hit these spots as well. But this really won't end until it's a process that's going to continue until the South Node moves into Libra, but it's not till July of 2023. That's what called me first to your chart. It's like, whoa, this South Node is going that really powerful Scorpio over that Scorpio stellium in your chart. You also have Uranus opposing your Pluto and opposing this stellium. And that can be sudden changes, sudden shifts that are unexpected things that show up that are, they can be very uncomfortable to deal with. But yeah, I would say that that's a pretty big theme for you. I'm looking at if there's anything else that jumps out at me in your chart. Jupiter's on your moon. So if you're feeling emotional, like if you're feeling emotions, you're probably expressing them very, very intensely. And with the moon in Aries, it's like, wow, like it just explodes. Explosive, impulsive feelings right now. Jupiter is magnifying your realm of feelings. So it can be really intense for yourself, but also for, everyone around you as well. That's kind of a big deal. And that's pretty much that Jupiter thing is going. You've been feeling it for a while, and it's going to be, it's going to continue for a little while until that orb between Jupiter and your moon like moves further and further away, right? Until Jupiter like moves further and further away, forward. So yeah, it's South Node. I mean, it's the sun and the moon are getting hit pretty heavy, right? South Node on the sun, Jupiter on the moon. Like whatever emotions you're feeling from what's happening with the South Node in your 12th house is coming out like massively through your emotions. Like you cannot contain it. That's Jupiter. You can't contain it. It overflows. So that's kind of a big deal right now. And it's going to take a minute to like dissipate, but it's what's happening right now that I think is the most important to sort of understand. But I hope that brought you some insight, and thanks for getting a reading. So next we have Rachel, and then we have Shannon. And I think that's going to be it. I think I'm closing the list Oh, okay. Did anybody answer that question? I didn't answer it, actually. Have you ever heard of the gene keys? Obviously not, but just send me your birth info. Put it in the chat and we'll check it out. You're welcome. Yes, we need your birth info. Yeah, so I'm closing the list after Shannon. So I'm going to pull up the gene key profile first, and then I'm going to talk about what a gene key reading is. Or I'm just going to do the reading, and then you'll see what it's all about. All right, the day is the 4th. The month is May. And the year is 84. Born in... Hey, Jerlene. Andrea, we are doing a reading for Rachel right now. If you would like to get on the list and get a reading, you can send $25 to my PayPal, and we will go ahead and do that. I'll open it back up. I just closed the list, but I'll open it back up if you absolutely want to get on it. Okay. What am I looking at? Time 2:30. Okay. May 4th, 1984. I just want to make sure I got it right. 2:30 p.m. Okay. I got this amazing crystal today. Oh my God. Fascinating. All right. This is your gene keys profile. So what the gene keys tell you is there's 3 different sequences. I'm going to just focus on the activation sequence, which are all the green spheres. But you can dive head over heels into gene keys, into a rabbit hole, and never come out. There's this really fat book that you can get called The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd, and it'll give you more insight. And you can pull your own profile from genekeys.com, and it'll just blow your mind as you just literally go and read each of the gene keys. I can already tell how this is a cool thing. Okay, so the activation sequence tells you what your life work is. It's what you're here to do. This is action oriented. It tells you in the activation sequence, right? It tells you your evolution, how you evolve, the path of challenge, the things that are one of the hardest things for you, how you evolve. It shows you that as you choose to change and evolve and transmute your shadows into gifts, you have breakthroughs in life. And the breakthroughs start to crack open and the shell, basically, and the true radiance, your true light, starts to shine from within. And as your true light, your radiance starts to shine from within, that's when you break through the core into your true purpose, which is not about doing or taking action, but it's about being. What are you here to be? So life's work is what are you here to do? Evolution is how you evolve. Radiance is your inner light, your radiance, how you shine, and your purpose is what you're here to be. We often think that our purpose is something that we're here to do, but it's not. It's what we're here to be. So, life's work. You are also a 2-6. Okay. So your life's work is basically to transmute the shadow of your life's work sphere and into the gift of the life work. And the gene key that is associated with this energy for you is the second gene key. The second gene key. Now, the second gene key goes from the shadow of dislocation to the gift of orientation to the city, which means divine gift of unity. And the meanings and definitions of this, I highly recommend getting the book because it'll give you, like, it's deep philosophical knowledge and it's amazing. There's a lot of history and connections. It has to do with activating your DNA, reactivating your DNA. So this shadow of dislocation, I mean, you can think of the energy of being dislocated. It almost feels like you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, you've dislocated. To feel like you're located means like you know where you are. But to be dislocated, it's like I'm not where I am supposed to be. You know, I'm not there. That's the shadow. And when you're in the shadow of this energy, you're going to feel dislocated in life until you learn to orient yourself in life. And when you orient yourself, you move into the gift. So this is about being a victim of external circumstances. When you feel like you're a victim of external circumstances, you're going to feel lost in life. And the shadow is that you automatically fall into the mentality of, oh, I'm a victim of what's happening to me. But the truth is that you're not. You need to find yourself. You need to reorient yourself or orient yourself if you've never felt oriented in the right direction in life. And when you step into that, you're going to release this feeling of being lost, this feeling of feeling like you don't know what's going on in your life. You're like, you know, kind of fumbling around, feel like you're moving forward blindly, you know, and the gift is stepping into unity, which means like the unity between you and yourself, your inner self. You become one. And then in that oneness, you will never feel lost again. You're also a line 2 here, which is the dancer, which means that you are someone who very fluid in life. You have natural talents that you may not think are talents because they're so natural to you, but you do have talents and you really need to focus on being in your talents and being in that natural, doing the things that you're naturally good at, and you will flow through life with more ease. That's your life's work, to let go of the shadow of dislocation and move into the gift of orientation, to orient yourself in life. All right. Your evolution sphere. The first gene key. So the first gene key moves from the shadow of entropy to the gift of freshness, to the city or divine gift of beauty. And what happens with this word, let me see what the actual definition of entropy. Okay, so entropy is lack of order or predictability. Disorder basically means disorder. Okay, so like kind of like chaotic kind of energy, disorder, things not not in order. So this is what happens when things feel out of order or in a sense chaotic. So let me put it in this perspective. When you feel like dislocated in life, when you feel lost in life, everything is going to be chaotic because these two gene keys work together. When you feel lost, it's like going to feel like life is chaotic. But when you orient yourself in your life, when you move from that shadow to the gift, what's going to happen is you're going to basically start to have breakthroughs and see that there's beauty all around. And that is when you release, like, oh, actually things are not chaotic. This is actually everything perfectly going the way it's supposed to. And then you step into the gift of freshness, which you take every moment for what it is. You start to step into life with freshness, like every moment is amazing. And when you live from that place, then you start to see that everything is literally beautiful just the way it is. So your desire for things to be orderly, it's almost like it's flawed. And when you let go of the need for everything to have order, that's when you're going to evolve the most in your life and start to allow yourself to be in the moment. So when you have these breakthroughs, what's going to happen is your true light, your true radiance is going to start to come through. And the true radiance, the sphere of your radiance is the 13th gene key. And the 13th gene key moves from the shadow of discord to the gift of discernment, to the city or the divine gift of empathy. So whereas in the shadow of the second or the first gene key, which was what we were just looking at, your evolution, entropy, and this is about being a victim of numbness, depression. It's like, so when things are, you can't understand them, they don't have order, you're like, it's chaotic, you have depression. But when you start to recognize that the freshness of everything, that everything is really beautiful the way it is, you step more into the freshness and in the moment, and the depression will go away. The radiance, the 13th gene key, from the shadow of discord to the city of discernment, to the gift of discernment, to the city of empathy, is about being a victim of having a pessimistic mind. So your job is to move away from thinking that everything sucks, and having that pessimistic attitude because there's discord here and there's discord there. And you just start to learn to discern for yourself, what is right, what is not right, and your true gift, your true light comes through your empathy. It's you understand everyone is in this together. You start to realize that, like, you start to have compassion, empathy for others. And that's your true radiance, your true light. And it'll start to shine when you start to deal with the shadow of entropy, which is like lack of order, and dislocation in your life. So what's going to happen is you're going to discover your true purpose as you work through these energies. And there's a lot more to this, but this is, in a general sense, my intuitive explanation of what is going on for you here in your chart. So your purpose is the 7th gene key, which is what you're supposed to be here to be. Moves from the shadow of division to the gift of guidance to the city of virtue. So this is about being a victim of jealousy. So interesting. Dividing ourselves, right? Dividing yourself, saying, I am here, you are there. Feeling the separateness is the shadow of this energy. Division. Things are not equal. That kind of thing. Something's better than the other. This divides into things. And so what ends up happening is when you realize, when you transmute the shadow of division, right? It comes together in a way. And you start to realize that there is a gift in allowing life to, guide you in a certain direction. This is also in here, you have the line 4, which is the breath. So like the breath is like it flows in and out, and it's got, even though it's like there's an inhale and then there's an exhale, it's really just a part of one process. And it's that flow, like working with the breath, any kind of breath work would be really, really important for you to do. And the real true siddhi, or the divine gift that is your true purpose, is to live in virtue. So it's not really about who's me and who I am and who that person is, or like any kind of like division in the world. It's not about like I'm here and they're there. It's about literally being just virtuous within yourself, and then that's, nothing else matters. Everything else will kind of fall into place. You'll receive the guidance. Life will guide you. You will be guided in the right direction. If you stop feeling like me against them, or in like dissatisfaction, right? With the way things are in your life. And that's kind of in a nutshell, that's kind of how the gene keys work, is that it's a very contemplative thing. And what I just gave you here is a very short understanding of the activation sequence. But with the gene keys can really only be really embraced and really open and unlocked by you, by the individual person. And the individual person has to contemplate all of these gene keys within themselves and look at the lines and understand the lines and all that stuff. I actually teach this, understanding this in my, we go deep into the gene keys in my Moon Goddess training. Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's how powerful they are. It's like they're just words on a page at first, but then they just reach you in a way that like whoosh, just hits you. And that was just my interpretation of that. Rachel, you have to get the book. Because I think it's like when we see something about ourselves, it resonates so deeply, and we don't, like our DNA, like your cells we're just like, like they just, something, I feel like when you discover the gene keys, something just opens up. And then it's like you got, like your body's like, yes, 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 yes. So that tells me that you're ready to dive into the golden path, which is known as the path of the gene keys, of like diving into this. So very intense. And that's just the activation sequence. So I'm so glad that it resonated with you. I guide you through understanding your gene keys in my Moon Goddess training, which the next one's going to be next year, we're starting a whole new set of Moon Goddess training. So I'm going to be in the next couple of months getting ready to promote that and get that out there. And let's see if we can get an awesome group of people in the class. But for now, you can go and discover this for yourself by getting the book and reading each of the chapters from each of the gene keys in your it's called the hologenetic profile. Thank you, Rachel, for getting that reading. I'm excited that was your first encounter with the gene keys. And it is on Audible too, so you can get it on Audible. Thank you, Valerie. So it's funny because, let me just go back real quick. The next, you see there's green spheres, red spheres, and blue spheres. Those are the 3 different sequences. The next one is the Venus sequence, which is a map of your wounding, starting from the moment of conception, which is your core, when your core wound is sort of like sealed, then the first 7 years of life, then the second 7-year cycle, and then the third, so teenager, and then the third, or like young child, like early childhood, then childhood, and then kind of like teenage years into adulthood is the third year. And each one of those is a wounding pattern, a wounding map, which is basically to unlock, like, you know how we get defensive instantly when we get triggered? It focuses on relationships, the Venus sequence. So we learn, it's genekeys.com. We learn we learn about the map of our wounding through the Venus sequence, which we do in level 2 of the Moon Goddess training. But level 1 is the activation sequence. It takes time, and you gotta be willing to dive in because this stuff can really trigger you. Oh, I love that, Jerlene. Okay, so we've got Shannon next, and I think, Jerlene, did you get on the list? Someone got on the list after Shannon, I believe. Yes, or it was a Jerlene B. Is that you? Okay. There's a Jerlene on the list. I'm assuming it's you, but I'm not really sure. So there we go. So we've got, and then that will be the end of the list. The list is closed. I won't take anybody else. Either progressed, had one last August, or human design had one, but not by you. I'd be interested in your take. If we did progress chart in August, like August of like this past August or last August, like a year ago. If we just did one in August, let's not do progress because nothing's changed. Like, it's good to have progress readings like every few months, I would say, unless you're like Virgoing it and like what degree is the moon in now, you know, and then you get, so it was last year. I don't know. Honestly, it's up to you. Which one do you want? In a year, things can definitely change. The moon is going to be like a few degrees later, probably the same phase. I can't remember, you know. Can't remember exactly. So I can't tell you which one to do. I would like to do the human design, but that sounds more like, I don't know if we've ever looked at your human design. Okay, we'll do the progressed. It's the one that calls you, you know, it's not about me. All right. So hilarious. Okay, I am going to pull up your chart and then we'll take a look at it. The delayed messages. Hang on, I need to reshare my so you want to do the human design, the one that I feel kind of more called to? Let me get the little code and then I'll share the screen and then we'll figure this out. 8489. I know, it's hilarious. Okay. I want to do human design. We're going to do human design. I just decided. Okay. All right, now I have to scroll back because your question's way up there. All right, the day is the 7th. The month is the 8th. And the year is 75. 10:55 a.m. So 10:55. Why does it keep doing that? Oh, because it automatically does that. Okay. Come on, you can do it. You know there's a Misawa. It's probably the internet. Give it a moment. What on earth? Ooh, it's like not finding it. Oh, because it's, oh my God, I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't really like this program. I'm going to change. Wait. Misawa Amori. Whatever that is, I guess that's it. All right. So let me go back to the beginning. I know, that's why I'm like, okay. So we know you're a manifesting generator. That is so funny. So, dude, literally your chart looks almost exactly like Raven's. The one that we just looked at. That's why when I did her reading, you were like, oh my God, I just learned so much. You have like similar energy, but you have these two other channels, that are also activated. So maybe we should talk about that. So you have a defined sacral center that's directly connected to your throat. That's what makes you the manifesting generator. It is the 2034, which is the channel of charisma, which is a design where thoughts must become deeds. So it's almost like this intense like desire that like pushes you forward, right? To like, this must come to life. And then it also has, charisma. Like this is a person that definitely has a lot of charisma. And then the other channel is the 1222. Oh, that's actually different. Okay, so there is a difference. So we were looking at the 3536, but for you, we're actually looking at the 1222. So this is what I'm going to point out. The 1222, and you also have the 81. That channel is filled. You also have the 3313, but we're going to stick with the 1222, which goes from the throat all the way down to the 22 in the solar plexus. And you are an emotional manifesting generator, so you also have to pay attention to your emotions. It is your authority. You also cannot make decisions in the moment. That's really important. But the 1222, then the 81, and then right under that, the 214. All of those channels are actually from the individual circuit, and they're called the knowing circuit. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I have one defined channel in my entire chart, and it's the 4323. And that, yeah, are you guys able to hear me okay? I kind of feel like we're having connection issues. Maybe not. Kind of feel like we are. Hopefully not. What do the red and black? Yeah, exactly. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about some epic stuff tomorrow in the Moon Goddess training. We're gonna talk about our incarnation cross. But yes, there is a very specific reason for why some of the lines are red and some of the lines are black. Okay, so awesome. So let's keep going here. Thank you, Nelvin. So let's keep going here. The individual circuit, from the individual circuit, the knowing group. So what does this mean? These are individuals. If you have circuitry in the individual circuit, specifically the knowing circuit, you are someone who is an agent of evolution. You are an example of uniqueness. In a way, you demand an audience. You can be very melancholic, but it's in those times of melancholy that you are usually the most creative. You can have a very unpredictable life. You literally are the very source of creativity, because this is also an energy of, in a sense, of mutation. So for the individual channel people, the individual is here to mutate the direction of others as seen by society. Individuals will always provoke the spirit of others by fighting for what they value in life. Through their sharp intuitive awareness, flashes of inspiration, and sudden insight, what they say can have a lasting impact on those who hear them. That's having energy in this circuitry, which is the individual, the knowing circuit. It's also about like just, there's a knowing, right? Like there's a deep knowing. And because you have this intense energy of being an individual, it's not, you're not really here to basically do too many things with groups. Like, you're here to do your own thing. That's what I've learned about interpreting my own connection to this circuit. It's like, you're just here to do your own thing. You're like on the leading edge. So it's almost like you are a mutation. And this energy draws attention to it. That's why it demands an audience. Because people are like, what on earth is that person doing? Because they're not doing what normal people do. You know what I mean? Like, and so it draws attention, and it says, I am a mutation. Ha! Like, this is where we're going. Like, mutations are what move us forward in evolution. That's why these people can be very different, very unique, very like, just, not really going with the normal whatever. They're doing their own thing, and they don't need anybody else to do their own thing. That's why they can be kind of reclusive also in a way. But you are also a manifesting generator, which means it's very different, right? So like, my expression of this kind of circuitry as a projector is very different than someone who has the circuitry as a manifesting generator would express it. So that's a big difference there. What the fuck is Shannon doing? Story of my life. Hello, Mama. Oh, okay. So there you go. That explains a lot, because you have 3 channels in the circuitry activated. So the 1222 is the channel of openness, a design of a social being. Okay, so that gives you the social qualities that you have. The 1A, channel of inspiration, a design of being a creative role model. Creativity, right? And then the 214, the channel of the beat, a design of being a keeper of the keys. Like, okay. A keeper of the keys. I would definitely like look more into those specific channels, because I feel like they're going to have a lot of insight for you. And then you also have the 3313, which is a different circuitry. It's the sensing circuit. You're in the sensing circuit too. So you have 3 different types of circuitry, which means that you're unique in that way, in that you're connected to many different modes of being, right? It's not, the individual stuff is like maybe the strongest energy, but the other ones they're there as well. So the 3313, it's the gateway of privacy and retreat. And it's the gate of privacy and retreat, and also the gate of the listener, the fellowship of man. It's called the channel of the prodigal. 33, it's kind of cool numbers too, right? Channel of the prodigal, a design of a witness. So you are also here to witness life. Witness yourself. Witness life. The sensing circuit is also a circuit that it cannot know in the moment. It cannot make sense of life in the moment. This is what I was talking to Raven about. It has to wait till the experiences are over. And when you're looking back at your experiences, that's when you will understand them. That's when you will understand what the heck was going on. And that's what it is. It's like a channel of discovery. So you discover as you go. You learn as you go. in a way. You're a 1-3, so that makes a lot of sense. So the 1 energy is so the black versus the red lines. The black is conscious, the red is unconscious. So 2 of these channels are purely unconscious things for you. Other people may see them in you, but you may not see them in yourself. The 1 is you are consciously like an investigator. You're someone who you need to have a foundation of knowledge. You need to build a foundation of knowledge, which means you have to kind of study. You have to know things. But the interesting thing is that you have the 3 as the unconscious, which is you learn by making mistakes. Basically what that means. Because it's basically trial and error. You learn through trial and error in life. And that's why you can't know until it's over. You're looking back, you're going, oh, but then you gain all this wisdom because you're like, have all these experiences and like you can literally be like, actually, I've done that and it's amazing, or I've done that and it's not that good, or whatever. Like you just become wise because you have so much learning that comes to you. But the sensing circuit is all about that. It's about having patience, not trying to make sense of life in the moment. You're not someone who can make quick decisions. You need to sit on it. You need to sleep on it. You need to wait till you feel in that neutral space, and then you'll know what it is that you need, to do. So yeah, that's it's really interesting, but it makes sense, right? I hope that brought you a little bit of more insight, but you have a defined sense of self, defined sacral. So you are the life force expressing the life force of the planet. Defined throat. What you're expressing is your emotions and your life force energy. And you have that sense of self, which gives you direction in life. You're not going to question, who am I? I think all this makes sense for my coaching. Nice. Hello, Megan. Welcome in. So hopefully it was fascinating. Fascinating to look at these things. Cool. So last but not least, we've got Jerlene B. Thanks, Shannon. Welcome in Raessa and Megan. We're going to do one last reading and then we'll finish the evening. And I do want to say thank you to everyone that's been hanging out with us and watching Board and Jai's live. And then also let us know what kind of reading you'd like me to do. Is that November 6th? I think so. Yeah, I think November 6th, right? And then Hawaii. Okay, got it. Yeah, so do you want me to look at astrology or gene keys or human design? My baptismal name, Nelson. So within astrology, what would you like me to look at? Okay, got it. Hi, Rebecca. Okay, the time is 1:02. What city were you born in? Will you do mine? If you make your payment, because these are paid for readings, if you make your payment before I'm done with this reading that I'm doing right now, then yes, I will do a reading for you. Otherwise, we shall continue next Friday. Every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, is when I do these readings. Okay. Well, then let me take a look at something, and then I'll tell you what is important to look at. Feelings have been super crazy. Well, you got the South Node transiting right over your Sun and your Saturn. That's going to feel crazy. That's going to feel heavy. It's like asking you to let go of the old you, and let the new you step forward. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Y'all, you got the Uranus opposing your Saturn and opposing your Sun. That's not going to feel very good either. That's going to be kind of gnarly. Mars is right on. Well, you are going through your nodal return. So that's actually a good thing. Oh, I love that you're doing the 40-day meditation. Hi, homie. Oh, the gang's all here. Oh, we love you, Dawn. Mars has been passing over your North Node, which actually, and it's in your 10th house, which should actually feel like focusing on your path, your purpose. This is what Mars is like, giving you the power to take action towards, what you're here to do in your life. So if you've been working on your life purpose and your path and whatever that is for you, career, or however you want to call it, right now that's going to feel really good. The crazy thing is going to be Mars entering Gemini, which, okay, if you're in the membership, I'm about to record this video for Mars going into Gemini. I'm not going to really talk about it because until the membership hears about it first, because it's crazy heavy and I want them to have the first dibs on the information. But this is a transit that's going to be going on for 6 to almost 7 months. My morning star, 6-7 months, and he's going to go retrograde. So that is going to be gnarly, and it's going to be going over what's going to pass over your Chiron and then retrograde to just before it, just in front of it, and then go back. So that's going to be like, there's a lot of healing that's coming for you in these next 7 months. It's a healing of that insecurity of like, because the Gemini energy with Chiron is the insecurity of like speaking your mind, speaking your truth, coming out. And I know you've been doing that. Like you've been doing a lot of that. I've been seeing you. You're more like, you're putting yourself out there, and it's beautiful. So it's taking action towards like, what is it that I really want to do? That's where Mars is going to be affecting you. Emotionally, Jupiter is in Aries. And it's going to be hitting your moon like in the next year or so, right? Just a few months, not even a year. Like Jupiter is only in a sign for 1 year. So this year is the year where your emotions will be heightened. That's what Jupiter on the moon is all about. It's like intense, impulsive, like you will not be able to contain the emotions that are expressing themselves from you. So you got to give yourself just space and time and be gentle. I've been trying to deep dive into the Sophia Code. Yeah, I love that book. The book's amazing. Woman on Fire. Yeah, that's amazing. Super powerful activations for that as well. So there is quite a few things here. Pluto's on your Mars, your natal Mars, and that's I think that that's causing like an intensity that can just feel kind of overwhelming, because Pluto and Mars can be the energy. They're both energies of like war and destruction. So in a way, he's kind of challenging you. Like Pluto's challenging you, like put your money where your mouth is, you know? And I think that pressure can feel like, ooh, like super intense, super uncomfortable. That's what I see in your chart. That's really, that's the things that are kind of showing up very strongly in your life is that South Node on your Sun, that Mars going over your North Node. You're going through a nodal return. So technically this year is actually a powerful time for you to focus on your destiny. I can feel Pluto on Mars. Yeah. To focus on your destiny. And to be on your path, you know, your destiny path, which, you know, you came here to find stability in your life. You came here to enjoy the beauty of this planet, Taurus, the energy of the earth, the mother earth, you know, Pachamama, Mama Gaia. Like you came here to like feel those beautiful Empress vibes and to learn about yourself in the process and to really ground yourself in this physical experience, to manifest things, to watch the magic of manifestation in your life. And this is something that you're also here to do as part of your 10th house, like life path. It's also a powerful Pleiadian energy. And I know you know that because I've done a starseed reading for you, but Pleiades and Orion energy getting massively activated right now in your chart. So pay attention, because that's powerful downloads coming for you that will be really important in guiding you forward in life. So hopefully that gives you some insight. And I'll just say this real quick. I'm just going to add this real quick. Because your moon recently entered, like in May, it entered into Virgo, your progressed moon. This is a time for you to get organized. Get organized, focus on the details, set your schedule, like just be in the moment. Be very present. This is time for you to be present and right here in the now. I've been seeing the blue orbs. Yes, that's I got so many people that I've talked to. Pleiadian energy like shows up in like these beautiful orbs of light. I love that. So yeah, that's, I mean, it's beautiful. It's powerful. But that Virgo energy is where you're at. Virgo. Just really quickly. From the marketplace of creativity and talent comes success, failure, or both. Whatever the outcome, as the progressed moon moves through Virgo, the issues of practicality become a major focus. The lens moves from the macro to the micro of the individual, and this involves the finesse of detail, polishing and perfecting the creativity into a craft. How beautiful is that? You desire not the perfection of one piece, but the perfection of all pieces. This shows a mastery of the creative area, the craft. The instinctive need is for quality of life, its routines and practical needs. Yeah. So routine, like 40-day, man, you're just like, since when have you been doing the 40-day meditation? Because I feel like you're feeling this Virgo vibe. That's doing a 40-day meditation is very Virgo. And so with your moon transiting through Virgo, you're going to like focus on that, like get organized, like focus on your schedule, like get exercise too, focus on your health, all those kind of things. Focus on yourself. This is for you. Like this time is for you. These next 2.5 years are for you. So beautiful. Thank you, Jerlene. All right, you guys. That's it. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for getting on the list tonight. How is there all of a sudden 27 people in here? There was like 2. Who brought them all in? Was it Mama O? No, I'm kidding, but I love you guys. And for those of you that are new, I do this every Friday. Human design Gene Keys, astrology, tarot, oracle readings. You pick and I will do a reading for you. It's $25 sent to my PayPal. I will be back next Friday to do them all over again. And yeah, have a beautiful weekend. I'll be back Monday to do the weekly reading. So make sure to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And yeah, there's a couple of free things in the description to download if you'd like. A free moon astrology guide. And yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful time. And I'll see you all on Monday. Sat Nam.